Alright, so the story for The Hangover Part 3 follows the Wolf Pack once again. You have Phil, played by Bradley Cooper, you got Stu, played by Ed Helms, you got Doug, played by Justin Bartha, and you got Alan, played by Zach Galifianakis. Woo! Got them all. There you go. And the story here in the beginning follows Alan's character, who is just completely out of control. Everybody can't stand his attitude. His mom, his dad, his entire family, everybody he knows, everybody can't stand his attitude. So everybody wants him to go somewhere to, you know, make him a better man, someone that's not a complete douchebag. I don't know why they didn't really address this stuff in the first and second movie. They kind of did, but here they address it straight up. We want you to go somewhere else and stop being a douchebag. You're 42 years old. Grow up. And of course, Stu, Doug, and Phil decide, you know what, we'll take him there. We'll take him to Arizona where we'll drop him off there and we'll tell him, see you later. But of course, something bad happens where a car pulls them over and John Goodman's character named Marshall tells the Wolfpack, alright, I know you guys know Chow, the character from the first two movies, the Asian guy played by Ken Jeong. He screwed me over, and I know you guys know him. This fat son of a bitch right here has been talking to him, so you guys have to go and get Chow back to me because he screwed me over for money, or I'm gonna go kill Doug. Of course, he has to take Doug away because he's not, you know, he's not one of the main characters. Screw him. So he just takes Doug and say, I'm gonna kill this. I'm gonna kill him. And go find him. So they have to go and of course find Chow, who broke out of prison, if you watched the second movie. So that's the story. They have to go and find Chow and bring him back with the money they stole and get Doug back once again. So yay. Before I talk about this story, let me just say something real quick. The Hangover Part 1 I thought had a legitimately great story. It was well paced, it was well written, very funny, great characters, all that. But my favorite part easily that it was a R-rated raunchy comedy mixed in with a mystery film. That's right, they had to actually find out where Doug was, and I love that mystery. I love them finding clues. I love that they were getting stumped just like we were, and we're figuring out along with them. And then when they found him, you're like piecing the clues together along with them, and you're like, whoa, there you go, that makes perfect sense. And I thought that was a great mystery film mixed in with some hilarious writing, and of course, you know, it's just an entertaining film altogether. This film, while it is entertaining, I will admit that, I'm not saying it should have mystery. Like the second one tried to do that and it kind of failed on that aspect, but this one, it should have some mystery or something really cool to set it apart from the other films. Because, and I'm not just talking about Hangover, I'm just talking about comedy or just movies in general, because this is a typical plot. They have to go find Chow. That's really it. There's nothing to it. There might be one or two twists here and there, but they're not big. They don't matter. It really doesn't. And there's no mystery. You don't ever go, oh, there we go, we figured it out. No, it's just typical. It really is. And I like that he didn't try to do the same thing over and over again like he did with the second film, but he could have thought of something way better than this. I just thought the story here was middling at best, just mediocre. But I do like the characters still. The actors do a damn good job. Bradley Cooper, Ed Helms, Zach Galifianakis, all the little cameos from characters from the first movie that are thrown in here are kind of cool, and all of the other characters that are returning, like Ken Jeong's character, they're all really good, and a lot of very funny characters are still funny, which is good because, you know, of course, my two favorite characters, in my opinion, are, of course, Alan's character and Ken Jeong's character, Chow. I'm sorry. They're very funny characters, and they're still funny here. But here's my other complaint. Even though the acting is good, the characters are still likable, and there are plenty of times where the characters actually do reminisce about their past, and they realize that they might have been dicks or something, and they actually start building as characters. It's not as funny as the past couple movies, and the reason why is because it's not that it's not trying to be funny. I mean, I'm sorry, it's not that it's trying to be funny, it's failing. It's just, they're not trying to be funny. It's a straight up action slash thriller with some comedy thrown in, and it feels weird. There's a bunch of car chases, there's a bunch of people getting shot, there's a bunch of just gritty visuals and just sight things going on. Sight things, I don't even know. Just things that you look at and go, okay. And I mean, there's some sight gags too, but just, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just not straight up a comedy anymore, and that's a problem. Even though there was a car chase in the second film, I thought it was very well done and it was very funny. Here, when it's a car chase, it's, you know, it's humorous at times, but for the most part, it's, you know, it's well shot, but it's just a car chase. I mean, I've seen car chases and way better ones than this, and I just thought it was a very mediocre plot. It's funny at times. There are very funny parts, don't get me wrong. You will enjoy this. It's very entertaining. I never thought it was boring. I thought the story itself was mediocre, but the characters and the humor itself bring it together to make it an enjoyable ride. It's just not as good as the last two movies, and yes, I'm saying it's not as good as the second one. I'm sorry. I like the second one. I think that's a good 7 out of 10. This movie, I think it's like a, if I had to grade it out of a 10 score, it's a 5.5 or a 6. There's so many parts where it's just like, okay, they could have did something better here. It's not as funny as the other ones, and I don't like that it's trying to be more of an action/thriller than just being a comedy with some mystery thrown in. I really don't like that. So what I'm going to give it on my score, I'm going to give it a 24 out of 40. I did not love it. I did not. Critics are giving it bad reviews. I don't think it's as bad as some people are saying. I don't think it's bad at all, really. I think it's mediocre, but I don't think it's bad. But it's not a way you should end this trilogy, especially at the end where they actually try to make the characters likable. I mean, not likable, you know, just give them more development, and then like a little bit into the credits, they completely destroy that. So, yeah. There you go. There's my review. It's a 24 out of 40. There's some funny parts. It's enjoyable, but it's not even close to as good as the first one, or it's not even as good as the second one. Whatever. So there you go. There's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, and goodbye.